Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today on my junk journal day. So I've made a little mini journal here, and this is what I'm going to show you how to make in this video. It is just over 4 inches high. Let me double check. Yeah, so it's about 4 1/4 tall, and it is 3 1/8 or just 3 inches wide, and I made the cover from the inner of a Loo Roll, yeah, and then just filled it with coffee dye paper, book pages, music paper, some vintage writing paper, and sort of added some tags and things that I already had. So this only took me probably about start to finish, maybe 3-4 hours to do. So I'm going to show you the whole process. I made this for a swap, and so I'm making another one to show you because I thought it was so cute that you might be interested in knowing how to do it. And if you've never made a junk journal before, making a tiny one might be a good idea. Okay, so stay tuned, and here we go. So let's get started on making another one of these. So the cover is made from a Loo Roll. So I was on holiday, and one of these got emptied, and I thought, oh, how could I use that? And then I thought, flatten it, make a cover. That was that was my idea. So to flatten it, you could just flatten it down, take a bone folder and do it like that, but I decided to run it through a die cutter. I had this mini one away with me. I've got a big shot, but that's quite large to take away in your holiday craft bag. So I've got this little one, which just perfect, and it's perfect size for a Loo Roll. So I just ran it through and back to give it a really good flatten down. And so you don't have to put it through if you haven't got a die cutting machine, but that does flatten it really, really well. So that was how I started it. And then I just took some scissors, and then I just cut one of the ends to get the opening. Like so. Not very neat, so I then I could have probably have done this without cutting it, but just could use a craft knife, which actually I might have done, but just used my trimmer like so. So I got a nice neat edge like so. Sometimes you get a little bit of peeling up, but it doesn't matter because we are going to cover this. And what I did was I just collaged over it some book pages and music sheets. I didn't have many on holiday with me, so I just sort of grabbed what I had on holiday. I've just literally picked this lot up off the floor next to me, as is my way, and I just started gluing down little bits of paper. So I'll just do that, but I'll do it speeded up because you don't need to watch me do that in real time. So that's it all covered over. As you could have told, I did it very randomly, so I don't know what's upside down, what's around the right way. Don't know yet which is going to be the front or the back, but I've got to leave it to dry. So I'm going to prepare the pages whilst I leave it to dry. So I need to measure it so that I know what size, because rolls aren't necessarily all the same size. So across there it's upside down, that's why I can't read it. So we've got, it's about 5 3/4. So if we go 5 1/2, that will be about right. And I'm going to write that down, 5 1/2. And that way is 4 1/4. So if we go 4 inches tall, will be about right there. So I am going to leave that to dry and prepare the pages. So I went through this one and sort of counted up what I'd used, and basically I took 1 sheet of A4 tea dyed paper, and I cut it into 4. I did use half a page of a Edith Holden book. 2 of the pages are music sheets. 1 is an encyclopedia, but it had a flap and I made a pocket of it. 2 of my vintage lined sheet of paper with a bit of a flip. This one I used a bit of greaseproof paper bag in here to give it a nice little crinkly effect. And I did find the other day some glassine, so I'm going to use glassine in this one. And then I did 2 half doilies as well. So I'm going to gather that. Now I've already started some. So this is, so I took a standard sheet of paper and I cut it into 4. But this was before I measured my my cover, so I'm just going to check that they are about right. So I'm going to cut that down to 4, and I want this to be 5 1/2, and then we'll fold it in half. I'd already folded this in half, so half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut that down there to 2 3/4, because I've already cut this. And I will be trimming, yeah, I did actually cut that to 4. I will be trimming once they're bunched together. I'll be trimming down there to keep them all the same size. So music sheet, I'll get a fresh sheet. I love the colour of this. I bought this in a really big wodge, so I'm going to take the top off there, cut down to 4, cut that one down to 4, so I had 2 of these. Going to take the edges off. I can do this now to 5 1/2. Then that will be grand. And I'm going to do the other one the same way. I'm just going to show you how I did the encyclopedia. So I got this encyclopedia, and I just used the width as it was. So I got the right height, which was 4 inches. And then folded in half to have the centre. And then I went to 2 3/4. I'm going to go slightly less actually, because I want to make sure that wherever it goes, so I'm going to go 1/8 less, it's in the right place. And I accidentally cut that, idiot. But that is how I did that, but without cutting. So then I created pockets there with this, and I've cut it slightly smaller, because when you trim it down, I wanted to make sure that it would be well inside what would be trimmed if this was in the center. So I think that's the only thing that's different. I am going to carry on doing that, but I'll do it faster for you. So that's all the pages prepared, and I just went through this one to save me thinking about how to put them together. And my cover's dry. Now I was a bit like I was a bit messy doing this because I was doing it quick, and there's lots of sort of glue residue on there, but I'm covering it up on the inside of each cover, not so much on the back, and the front's going to get covered, but you can, if you've got a glue eraser, you can go around and clean it up that way and take most of that glue off, if it bothered you, or just be a little bit cleaner. But I say I'm going to cover most of that up, so it's only going to be whatever I put on the back. So I'm not too bothered, and I may even put a panel on the back as well. But it's a junk journal as well, so bits of glue don't really bother me that much. So we're ready now to get on with the next bit. So that needs trimming. If we pop that in the cover, we can see that bits protrude out, but the first page is fine. So we're going to use that as our measurer for where we're going to trim everything. So I'm going to make sure everything's in place. I'm going to clamp it together, and I'm going to cut it up. So I'm going to get my glass mat, which is under here. So I'm just going to peel my cover back. So I don't have a nice wooden desk. It's all an illusion. So there we go. Got that there. Got my metal ruler. Line it up. Put my glasses on so I can properly see. And then I'm just going to take my craft knife and slice it. So that is straight. Slice them all down, and that gives us that beautiful neat finish there. And the pages that I have folded back were well below where I was cutting, so they are intact and not harmed by the process of the trimming. So now I want to just cover the spine section with some cloth, just to give it a little bit of extra strength. So on this I had a little strip of this fabric by just putting that across there, and I did put it on the outside, but I then knotted it and then I hung this bead, which actually is a bit annoying, that bead, although it looks nice from the front. When you open it up, it's a bit annoying, so I don't want to do that. So I thought I'll sew the signatures and then I'll cover the spine so you don't see the sewing. So we'll just do this side. So I'm going to cut that strip off. And stick it down. So I'm going to use some fabric glue. So this is, I've got Fabutac, but this is actually okay as well, and it's easily available in the UK, because Fabutac we have to get off Amazon and it's quite pricey, whereas this you can get in UK shops. I got this one in Boys, and it was, I think it was £1.99. So cheap as chips, cheap as chips. So lay that down there. So it just, I mean, it's only a mini journal. It's not going to be, it's going to be filled quite quickly. But you still don't want it to fall apart, so the bit of fabric along the spine does help. Now, I don't think this doesn't dry as quickly as Fabutac, but that's your compromise for having something cheaper, and that doesn't bother me at all. I'm gonna stick it down on the front, but when I've finished it I'll have a strip along here. This was a strip of fabric I got from the charity shop. It was a big rectangle, and I thought it'd be ideal for cutting into strips and having it like seam binding. So I need to leave that to dry before I sew my signatures in. So I'm going to prepare some of these pages. Some of them have got stenciling on. I'm going to look at putting pockets and look at the little bits of ephemera that I am going to put in it. Right, so I've gathered some of my masks to cover it. So this is the ones I made myself. I used these on my Edith Holden journal pages. They seem a little bit big. I quite like that. I might use that on some of the pages. On that one. But then I remembered I got these, and I thought they would make nice little corner patterns that would be nice. So I might do that. So I've got my my catalogue to help me. Got a blending brush, got some ink. So going to take this off now, but I think that that's quite a nice little design. I've got 4 designs to choose from, but I think that's quite nice. Got a bit of a line there, so you need to be careful of that. Bit better. And then I might do a bit of a flower and a butterfly coming down the other side. Very subtle, that. Yeah, so just give a little bit of like shadowing to the pages. So I'm going to carry on doing that through the book. So there, just showing you what I did. Very subtle on that one. Nice little hint of a flower on those, and then I used those masks that look like 4 different things on. I think they turned out nicely, and then I decided to put one up in the corner there to match that, liking how that looked. And then on the other side the same. Did a centre spread on this one. My centre was a fussy cut butterfly, and then I put the shadowing things on either side, but quite like how that was. Might leave that one as it is. And then on this book page, I just put a butterfly in the corner, put one resting there, and then kind of mirrored on the other side. Really like that. And then I was going for a doily there, so I put a little doily thing there. A little bit of a doily thing going on there and there. So just adds a little bit of interest to the pages. So the next thing I did was I wanted to turn this into a pocket, but I wanted to give it a little bit of strength. So I glued on some tea-dyed paper to there and to there, which added a bit of strength. So I was then able to put a pocket on the back as well. So gonna do that now. So I can ink around those if I choose, maybe do a bit of stenciling on it like I'd done before I stick them down. So then we want to do a little bit of glue up the sides. I'm going to come in with my art glitter glue so that I've got a really thin line. I've lost my little bottle with my colour that has the needle tip. Don't know where it is. And I tidied up. So that's the thing. I tidy and then I can't find nothing. Oh, and with that, I looked up and there it was. Oh well. So there we've got pockets there, and I put a little pocket on the back as well. So what I did for that was so I made these little sort of faux envelopes, and it was the end bit of this that went to make the pocket. So that is what I'm going to do for this one. So I made 2 of those so that I got 2 pockets. So I'm going to find some paper. So I think I'm going to use, I forgot. So this is some digital paper that I made. So I bought a flower press and it had dried flowers already in it. I bought it from charity shop. So I laid the flowers on my scanner bed and I scanned them in, and I did them in different ways. This one is exactly the same layout, but I did some with just flowers, I did some with just leaves, I did some mixture. So I scanned a lot of them in just on a plain background, and then I printed that plain background on some coffee dyed paper and then scanned that. And then I had some public domain sort of like newsprint, and I printed them on that as well. So I think they're quite nice, and so it'd be nice to use something that I've made. So so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna just gonna rip I'm just gonna rip about there. That's as precise a measurement that I'm gonna do, about there. So I didn't even think, is that about, yeah, that'll be about a pocket width. So that'll be a nice pocket. I'll do a ruler width, and that works really nice as a pocket, I think. I might do a ruler width this side. With that flower, that'll make a nice pocket on the other side. So I did back it on some coffee dyed paper or tea dyed paper first, and just to give it a little bit of strength. So I'm going to bring back that scrap I've been using, and see on here what we can use. So stick those on that. It's not quite thick enough for that, so we'll stick that on there. I might put those actually on these rip bits. And I want 2 of these, so I might do one with the newsprint. So that's them all prepped and done. So I'm going to stick these pockets on there. So I'm just going to put a thin bit of thin bead of glue around the 3 sides. I could have probably backed this on to book page, anything really, just to give it a little bit of extra strength there. So there we've got some nice little pockets there, and then I'll turn these into little sort of faux envelopes that open up to give us a bit of journaling. So I'm going to cut the corners off. So I'm going to do that one. And then we'll fold that down like that. And then we can fold that up. So we've got a thing that looks like an envelope, but it's not quite. So I'm going to do a little bit of inking on this. I'll ink where those folds are. Ink those edges I've just made. So that's, I'll put some decoration on there. So that's ready to go over that. And then we'll do the back one in exactly the same way. So there's my cover, nice and dry. And I've got my bookbinding kit, so ready to bind this. So let me find the centre. Put it in the cover. Got a little template. Template for a bigger book, but I can use it. Stick that in. There we go. That's where I want it. So I'm going to do my 3 holes. So one in the middle, and if you slightly close your book, you get it right on the spine. There we go. So yeah, nicely on the spine. I go up there. What I haven't checked for is where's up and where's down, and where are my doilies. That will mean I didn't have to decide which was the front and which was the back of the cover, because it's now already decided. There we go. My holes made. Right, let's get the template off so I don't sew through that, which I have done before. Okay. So I've got my wax thread. I do 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I've done these before, so if you don't need to know how to do this, then you can fast forward this bit. So 3 times the length of your book is a good rule of thumb. Get my needle. That one. Stick my cork back in the end. So I'm going to start on the outside, whether you start in the middle or on the outside, that's where the ends are going to be. And I'm starting on the outside, so the ends are on the outside. And then when I cover the spine, you won't see them. So go in through the middle of that hole we have created. There we go, catch the end. In the top. And we go back through the middle. And then pull that tight. And then through the top hole. Make sure they're pulled nice and tightly. Then you take your needle and you go through this top bit, and then you make sure you've got your threads on either side. I am going to come back through here just to be sure, and then you tie your knot. So left over right, knot, right over left. That should be it done. And I'm going to snip that off. If this was on the inside, you could leave it, put charms on. I'm going to snip it off because I am going to cover this spine. So that is that in. So it's obviously this way up. And that is the journal all done together. So now it is just a matter of adding tags. And I did put little corner tucks on these book pages, which I will do. So yep, that has worked out exactly how I wanted it. So I could put a little bit of ribbon around there and then cover the ribbon with whatever's going down the spine. So this one I put the ribbon on the outside because I'd already covered the spine, but I'm going to do it now so I can put some ribbon down there to hold it in. I'm going to just give it a nice bit of a Bit of a crease there. So it's about deciding on which ribbon I'm going to use. But how cool is that? Nice little neat journal. So I'll just tidy up. Right, so I've been through my drawers and I found some little tags and things that I have made. And I found another one of these that I made at the same time as that one, which I thought, well, it worked for that one. Let's make it work for this one. And I think that fits quite nicely. So that's the same ribbon there. So I'm going to use this again as the fastener. I love this colour. It's Fresh Fig. It's a retired Stampin' Up colour, but I absolutely love it. Yeah, so we'll go for about that far. So I've still got the ink and a re-inker, and I've got this spooler ribbon. I've got a bit of paper, cardstock. I do stock up on my favourite colours as they retire. I liked this because it was very similar to Blackberry Bliss, and then they brought Blackberry Bliss back as a permanent colour, so I was ecstatic. So I'm gonna do a bit of glue stick and some fabric glue across the centre. Going to spread it out a bit with my silicone spreader. There we go. Put it on the other side as well. And I got some more of the strip of fabric that I put on the inside, which I'm going to put down the spine. So that's that put in place. And then going to go down the spine. Can't remember which is the front and which is the back now. That's the front. There we go. So I'm just going to take my pinking shears, which are not the best. And I did wonder about putting a bit of this on top, but I actually don't think I'm going to. I can still decide about that. So this needs to go on the top, and then that will be the front finished, apart from I did add journal on there, which I think I'll do. One of my little tags, well, words that I made myself, but I'll get this stuck on first. Double check I'm going in the right direction. No, that's the front. Good job I checked then. Yeah, doily in the right place. Where's the pocket? Pocket's down there. Yep. I've not got anything here that I want to put on the back. I might find something. after. So that's that. Got journal there. So that's that bit done. So now it's a matter of going through and adding things. So I had some things on the inside front and the inside back, so I'm going to look for pictures for there. But meanwhile, let's fill our pockets. So that goes in there. Don't want anything too thick. That's quite nice. Something to go in there. I thought this cabinet card might fit in there. It does. So then we've got, don't have anything here that could go in there. I think that's too big, isn't it? Let's try it. Too tall. One of them in. Yep, that works. So I thought about the little half tuck. So I want a few more things. I need something in there, but a little half tuck here. So I did cover another one of these, and what we can do is turn that into a little tuck. I'm gonna have it straight up from the bottom actually. Put a couple of little tickets and things in there, because that corner, it's a little boring. So I'm going to gather some other things that I might use. Okay, so I'm now ready to finish it all off. So I looked through my, excuse me, my collection of digitals. So I've got some of my stamps that I have scanned. I've got some of my little postcards that they're in the public domain, so I downloaded them. I've backed them all on tea-dye paper, and I've stamped around them. I haven't sewn. This is that lovely stamp set that I've used before, a new one from Stampin' Up, which works a treat. Got some Artie Mays stuff here as well. I thought that would look nice on the back there, and it kind of fits perfectly. And I got one, I think this is Artie Mays as well, can't remember. And I thought that would go on the inside. I seem to not have one for the inside cover at the back. I'll sort that out. And then using a lovely die set from Stampin' Up, I can make my own little doilies. So again, I did these from some digital paper that I downloaded, and I think they work a treat. That one was just, I've stamped on that. These were already printed. So I'm just gonna finish it off, stick these in, but I'll do that sort of speeded up. And there it is, finished. So I put that ticket on the back. I think that worked well. I did the stitching stamping around. That's so much quicker than getting my sewing machine out, and looks just as good, I think. So that's a good little stamp set if you don't sew. Fold doilies on there. Did a little cluster on there. And then we've got, these are some Artie Maze printables and a tag I made. I've got a video on making that. I made a whole set of them. And one of my printables, nice little cluster, bit of stitching there and on these. So yeah, so I've literally made this today. I think, you know, I had a few things already made, but I could have still had this done in a day. Journal done in a day. Amazing. Pretty little glassine. Just put that there on the centre page. I've left that without corner tuck because I cut it too small and I thought, well, do you know what? It's fine as it is. Another little cluster, you put a blue ticket there, it goes with the blue colour here. A little bit of a cluster there in the corner. Artie Maze tag that I had in my stash from making the Vintage Day journal. Another little cluster down there. I took a couple of things out that were in it because I felt it was a little bit bulky. And so I took a few things out. And that's another one of those envelopes. And then I made this pocket and then I just added a little tag. So that is this retired punch from Stampin' Up, but it stuck out too far, so I just folded it in. And I think that works. So that's my little journal. So that was the original. And that's the one I made. So I think this one's a little bit chunkier than that one, as you can see. But that's fine. So I shall be sending one of these to my swap partner. And yeah, keeping the other. Might give it away in another swap. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Hope it wasn't too long. I might end up putting this as 2 parts. So if it's been 2 parts, then thanks for sticking with me. And yeah, hope you like and subscribe. And I'm knocking on the door of 5,000, so I'm really excited. I do a mixture of junk journaling and other paper crafts. I'm not purely junk journaling, but this is like my day off crafting, and what a lovely day I've had making this. Okay, see you all again soon, next Wednesday for another junk journal, and Friday and Sunday for a Stampin' Up video. Okay, bye for now. I'll link down below to the things that I've used that you can buy from me, the dies that I made the stencils out, the dies for the doilies, the stitching, these masks, yeah, and the inks that I use. Okay,